Hello friends, my name is Old Man Cloud. I post daily Bazaar videos over on my YouTube channel, and I am currently climbing to legend slowly but surely, playing as a Vanessa in a max world. Vanessa, my favourite character, and I love this skin. And she seems to be in a pretty good place in the meta at the moment, so let's give it a try. Start with enchanted item. These are all bad. Very, very bad. But we go on.
Nothing tiny, nothing huge.
Sure, early Lang John, early star chart. Sure, let's take a reroll. Any of these are decent. I do like Shark Claws at the moment.
But people thought it was weird.
The early Lang John is really nice. Albeit bronze. Let's go Kimono, why not? See, I thought it might be interesting to talk about the monetization of the Bazaar. I think it's in a really good place at the moment. I don't have any particular expertise here, but in my understanding, for a great monetization system, you want it to firstly take advantage of whales, and I mean that not in a negative sense, but to be able to benefit from whales. Ultimately, there's going to be people that are prepared to spend a large amount of money on a game, often for cosmetics or for things that don't necessarily impact the gameplay, and you really need your game to allow those people to make those purchases. It's crazy to have a system where people are prepared to throw money at your game, but you're not prepared to take it. And I feel like the previous money system, the previous monetization before it changed, wasn't able to take advantage of whales. You could be prepared to spend a lot of money on the game and still unable to. Whereas I feel the new system is a lot better in that regard, judging by the cosmetic shop. They're really leaning into the FOMO for cosmetics, which I think is a very smart move. And the super expensive, wow, what a build we have, what a build we're up against here. That is the dream start as Vanessa. Could we get a crit? No, we don't even have a crit chance. It might be a draw, actually, or we might even win. They have reduced cooldown. Oh, that's so brutal. Yeah, it was because of their reduced cooldown on their Lang John that I got to go a bit earlier, so that's a really rough loss. But anyway, so I think the new system is a lot better at benefiting from whales. The new cosmetics look really cool, and it looks like often the only way to buy them is to either spend a large amount of money up front or to pay with a lot of gems, both of which are good because gems needed, there absolutely needed to be more things to do with gems. So I think that's a definite improvement and is a really good system. It will probably improve as well as we see the player trading Bazaar open up. Not sure exactly how that's going to look, but I think it will help that situation for sure. So I think the monetization system is really good in that it can take advantage of whales, which is what you want, one of the things you want. I think you also want a monetization system to be friendly for free-to-play players, but not too friendly. And before I get crucified, let me explain that. You can't, obviously taken to the extreme, the most friendly monetization system is just absolutely everything's free, you never have to pay for anything. Obviously the game can't survive that. And taken a bit less to the extreme, if there's no real reason for anyone other than whales to spend money, so if everything is pretty much free other than kind of really high-end cosmetics that the whales are going to be buying, I don't think a game can survive like that. I think that monetization is just a bit too generous. And ultimately, free-to-play players shouldn't want that either, because the survival of a game depends on it making money, and if it's not making any money or enough money, then the game isn't going to survive regardless of how free-to-play friendly it is. So I don't think anyone should want a game to be too free-to-play friendly. You should always feel better paying for the game than you do playing it for free. Otherwise the game monetization has done something really wrong and is probably in a pretty bad place. But equally, free-to-play players are extremely important for the survival of a game. A game, I don't think, can survive just based on... So let me think through this, just based on whales alone. And I don't think it can survive just based on free-to-play players alone either. So there needs to be some type of compromise there. And I think the original monetization before it changed was not friendly enough to free-to-play players. There's no doubt about that. It felt really bad to lose to the items that you couldn't possibly get without paying for them, especially when they were massively overtuned to begin with. And the doubling up of the subscription and the prize pass felt messy and unnecessary and confusing, and it was not a good experience for free-to-play players. And as a result of that, we saw, we got destroyed there. As a result of that, we saw a lot of people quit the game or threaten to quit the game, and just generally people were in a really negative state of mind about the Bazaar at that point, which I think was justified, albeit maybe a little bit overblown, but certainly it wasn't in a great place for free-to-play. The new system feels like it has struck that balance a lot better. And I think, if anything, it's possibly too free-to-play friendly, the new system. And I think they may have overcorrected there because of how bad the reception was to their original monetization. And they certainly could be forgiven for that. But it wouldn't surprise me if we saw them walk back that free-to-play friendliness a little bit. Make it a bit less friendly. But time will tell, and Tempo presumably will be collecting a lot of data about that will allow them to make the right call. But yeah, I think it's easier to say games need to be free-to-play friendly. Certainly true in this case. This game cannot survive without free-to-play players. The player pool and just won't be enough to sustain the game, and it'll get stale very quickly. But it can't be too free-to-play friendly. And I think an example of that is perhaps Super Auto Pets. Again, I don't massively follow the kind of insider gaming industry news, but my assumption is that Super Auto Pets is perhaps, I'm sure it had an incredible run, and deservedly so, it's a phenomenal game, but I feel like the monetization wasn't what it should have been with Super Auto Pets. It was perhaps a bit too generous to free-to-play players, because even as someone who played that game a lot, and I played it a lot, I never felt compelled to spend money on it. And that's a pretty bad situation for the developers to be in. You really want to be monetizing people like me who are, I'm certainly not a whale. I'm not going to be spending $25 on a skin, unless maybe it's a naked Vanessa skin. Then obviously we'd be spending it. But other than that, I really don't think I'm spending massive amounts of money on a skin, so I wouldn't qualify myself as a whale. But I would say that I'm directly in the demographic that they should be monetizing, where I've got disposable income, very prepared to spend it on the game in the right circumstances, and that's why I've bought up to the subscription, which I think is a good deal. And potentially with the degree of FOMO they're pushing with the skins, and if I do really like a skin that you can only buy with gems, I might be pushed to spend some money on some gems as well. So I think that's kind of exactly what they're looking for with the monetization. So overall, I think it's pretty on point. And if anything, I think we might see them walk back the friendliness to free-to-play players. Okay, all that being said, the run is terrible. We are about to lose to a dually that has no, we're going to win at least, but losing to a dually with Salamander Pup on the board would have been extremely humiliating. It's also, unfortunately, has somehow become a similar run to some of our other Vanessa runs. I usually kind of pride myself on playing unconventional, Scarf is not conventional. I usually pride myself on playing unconventional builds, but this is just the way this run has developed so far, and there's always a chance that we pivot into something completely different. I'm certainly open to that. Could make a case for wanted poster on the board even. It's fine for the time being. Let's have a look at Midsworth. Some good stuff here. Cove has obvious synergies with Scarf, but that's probably all we want to buy from here. So we need a chocolate is obviously very good. We don't quite have room. I would quite like to get room. I think Silencer is gone. I think relatively unlikely to pivot into one weapon, and if we do, I say that we're probably about to get Crow's Nest, and I'm gonna wish I kept the silencer. We'll see how we go. Order probably isn't quite right here. We want our fastest item to be on the left for hotspot. But this is why we have AI fights. So yeah, similar build to last time, or a couple of runs ago, in that it's somehow square Vanessa again. But it's not going particularly well, so I feel like the pivot is coming in some shape or form. Won't be there. Maybe we go Scarf Vanessa. It is always fun to play something a bit new. Gotta take a look at mediums though. Oh god, it's it really is the previous build. It's obviously better than Cannon though. Geez, I kind of don't want to just play the exact same build. Is there a world where we can play Barrel? Not really. It's just not a great item. It's almost identical. We probably want Star Chart on... Yeah, Star Chart on Claws is fine. And we probably want to go June for Katana. Or, yeah, let's just go June for Katana and not pay. Just take the 5. The scaling comes from Shark Claws, obviously, which is a strong item. This is rough, because these are nothing. These are terrible. I don't want to whiff on the skill, so I think we sell out of the Cove. And Large Appetites is pretty good. Flashing Mechanic can be good. Yeah, let's just take the health. That's pretty strong early. We're playing Crook Vanessa again without the Crook. Why does this keep happening?
It makes this more fun.
Against Sleepy PP. That sounds like an absolute nightmare. Playing Drill with lots of burn. Lots and lots of burn. But Langzhong gets up there, and we got a bit of survivability with our Scarf. Shield is very effective against burn. It's kind of a little hidden mechanic of the Bazaar. We just get there, just. I'm pretty sure Shield stops... Shield halves the time that burn takes to... or doubles the time that burn takes to tick. So effectively halves its effectiveness while you have a shield. Which is a cool mechanic. Temporary boost is tempting, but we gotta take a look at squares, because that's what we're doing at the moment. We're not hasting, so you're no good. We're not playing non-weapons. Yeah, none of this is relevant. Econ is in a bad place because we're kind of just trying to keep up. So let's have a look at the crate and gamble on... I'm feeling lucky. Not bad. Further incentivize our buy-selling. Your skill is very good for us. So let's have a go. Would be nice to get a worthwhile run that's worthwhile uploading, at least, having just gone into my monetization rant. Obviously the PR from the Bazaar team could use a bit of work, but I think the more important thing is the actions, and the actions show that they have a pretty good understanding of, I think, what they needed to do, and I think the game's in a very good spot as a result of it. Monster skills, to buy one we're probably going to have to sell out of Wanted Post, which is a shame, but let's have a look. Let's have a cheeky peek. No, this is such a bad skill. No, don't really want any of those, and they're certainly not... I mean, Burst of Flame, it's not terrible, but I don't think they're worth selling out, and certainly we can't afford a roll, so that's the end of that. Let's take loot, although we're probably on the borderline. That's not what we want, obviously. Geez, they're all pretty rough. Maybe it's a... No, there's no point transforming, really. It's low chance of paying off. Can't think of any real ammo items we'd want to include. I guess we just start with shield against the Duelster, level 6 as well. I love this skin.
You should know.
I assume everyone was given the skin. Is that how they rectified the prize pass from season 1. I'm not sure. I did make it to the end of the previous prize pass. Weapon drill dually. Langjon getting frozen is very bad. Langjon critting would be nice. No. Langjon getting to go again would be nice. Scarf should help us get there. Whoa, that hurt. Yeah, we're fine. Cool. So I'd say Langjon is about on par for where you need it to be. I think, as I mentioned in a previous video, basically, if you're committing a run to Langjon, there's kind of a curve of where it needs to be hitting at any given time to be worth keeping and to be effective. We're kind of right on that. I don't feel like we're ahead of the curve, but I feel like we're right on where Langjon should be at the moment. Let's grab the free aquatic item. Coral armor will be getting sold. You're a good get. That's one way of getting us slightly ahead of the curve with Langjon. So that's very nice. Lone Shark is poor. I think we probably can take him. He's so good now with the claws, but he'd have some good gets for us. Let's risk it. Let's risk it for the biscuit.
No need to read the contract. It's all standard.
He's so dangerous now. His items gear up so quickly. Would be a really nice time to crit with our Langjon, to say the least. I have a feeling we might need one crit. Maybe not. If our Scarf helps us survive, Gotti gets there so quickly. Shield and Langjon. One time! Oh, so close. Okay, that feels good. Look how close their cannon was to going off, although it wouldn't have quite got them there. That was an incredibly close fight. It would be nice to get rewarded with a useful weapon. 2 income, yeah, sure. We'll take that. That felt good. So we can sell you. There's no point keeping you. And we upgrade silver or lower. Let's go Scarf. There's a temptation to go Shark Claws, but there's something to be said for Scarf Vanessa. It's a bit new, a bit different, a bit brave. Let's get some cheap chocolates for our Scarf scaling. And there is some synergy there, even though it's not super obvious. Certainly not as obvious as our previous runs. But the synergy is basically that Langjon wins us the game if we survive long enough. That's the logic anyway. May not always be true, but that's the game plan. And Scarf gets us to that point where Langjon can go off at the moment twice. Hopefully at some point we'll only need it to go off once. Bloodhound is just too good not to take, I think. Crit chance really nice, but there's lots of ways of compensating for crit chance and far fewer ways of getting charge. So yeah, we basically want Scarf to help us survive as long as possible, and then Langjon to finish the job. Not great against poison. Cannon build. Interesting. Kind of straddling two archetypes here, which is cool to see. Cannonade, really strong. Underrated item for sure. Should be okay here, I think. Although I have a history of being terrible at judging fights. Yeah, we get there. And that was obviously thanks to the shielding from the Scarf. We would have stood no chance otherwise. So feels good. Feels good to see the build working like that. Could probably make an argument for putting Star Chart between Langjon and Scarf. Yeah. What a cursed selection. Shield for AI fight, this stupid transmute thing, transform that appears everywhere, even though it's useless, and toys. Nothing even worth buying, selling. Although actually there is, because we have iron sharpens iron, so we'll take you. But I think 8 is where we draw the line. Or 4, more like. Let's take a look at... Gumballs are great for Scarf. Let's go Gumballs. Really great for Scarf and good for... and of marginal benefit for the rest of our build. So again, we somehow landed on Langjon and Katana. Don't know how that's happened again. I swear I play different builds all the time. Maybe I'll space out these uploads so it looks like I'm creative at least. Shock Trooper is nasty. He's very nasty now, and I don't want to lose. You're also quite nasty. I think we beat Ghost Pepper, but let's just go with the surefire win. I've ruined too many runs by getting overexcited about AI fights, and especially with Langjon, you just want to get the safe win. So we really are looking for crit chance now. That's the easiest way of improving this run, is making sure Lang Zhong crits every time. And we are open to transitioning to one weapon for sure. Especially with Scarf. You're interesting, but no.
Ride that tide!
Freeze, crit. Crit could be good, but let's just have a look at gold. These look bad. Nah. These are more like it. Well, this one in particular is more like it. Phenomenal skill. Phenomenal skill. Well, we're playing the same run. Playing the same run as before. With a Scarf though. With a Scarf, and that makes all the difference as far as I'm concerned. And with a far worse katana than before. Scarf is getting good and is gonna make a case for receiving the enchantment for sure, depending on what it is. Turning the Scarf into an offensive weapon is always appealing because it scales so well, and we've invested a fair bit in scaling it. Give it a burn enchantment, give it a poison enchantment, give it an obsidian enchantment, and it becomes very strong. Oh, this is a phenomenally powerful Mac. This Mac has transformed like crazy. How much stuff have you transformed, brother? Even with a crit, we lose. Yeah, even with the crit, we would have lost. Wow. I mean, honestly I thought transform was a massively underbaked mechanic, both in terms of strength and just how it's implemented, and yeah, but obviously you can make it work. It doesn't hurt with the other items surrounding it. That's just a very strong Mac. But yeah, obviously made transform work. It is a shame that the main benefit of transform seems to just be scaling other items, which is presumably not the way the mechanic is supposed to work. But anyway, let's buy this out to buff our katana. Boulder. Boulder, boulder, boulder. I don't think so. I can see the appeal, but no. Don't have the support for it at the moment. 3 small items can help a bit, but let's take the XP. Let's try to get to 10, to that break point of 10, as soon as we possibly can, because it just makes such a big difference. And we've got a couple of nice recipients for enchants, which is really good. That's definitely something to bear in mind as you're approaching level 10, is you want an item that is very powerful with the right enchant, and you want to have coverage, so ideally a lot of enchants can be helpful. So here, for example, if we get offered a haste enchant, slap that bad boy in katana, and it's phenomenal. It's suddenly hasting a lot of our board. Crit and damage are great on Lang Zhong. Burn and poison can go on Scarf. Slow probably goes on katana. Like we've kind of got the board covered for whatever we get here, which is a good position to be in approaching level 10. Let's get rid of you. Medium and large. Temptation is obviously just to go chocolate for Scarf, but let's have a look at a vendor.
Seeds, acorns.
Dock Lines is really good. It's a really good item. Even just with no support and just by itself, it's really, really strong. How much is Shark Claws really doing for us here? We want Katana for its enchant or enchantability. It's obviously helping scale katanas, which is nice, but really the damage is coming through from Lang Zhong. So I think I'm going to make an interesting move and sell out and position like this. Dock Lines is just really good. It's just a really, really good item. That's a good get, seeing as we still have a bit of life. Iceberg is also a really, really good item. How would we afford you? We have 10 here, plus 4 there, 14, it's the 19. We would have to sell something we really like. We would have to sell the Scarf or the Katana, both of which I don't like selling. The Iceberg is really good, but let's stick with what we got. Upgrading the star chart for free, sure. Probably doesn't have a long-term future on the board. We'd like to replace it with Swashbuckle so we can really run the identical run. Damage is obviously great. I would probably prefer Radiant, but damage on Lang Zhong is a phenomenal enchant, can't complain at all. So now the goal is really to get your crit chance up and to survive long enough to make sure you can thwack them once with the Langjon and hope that that's enough to get the job done. It is if we crit. Mac doesn't have shield generally, so one hit with the Langjon is likely to be enough, but let's see how we go. Our shield does nothing against Mac. Well, I guess it helps with the runic double bow a bit. Crit one time, there we go. Nice. That's one tapping Mac is never fails to be entertaining. Would love a crow's nest here. Say that a lot, but here's a case where going one weapon is obviously the play, despite the benefits that Katana is offering to us. Let's take free chocolate for the scarf. Scaling very nicely. We can afford some skills. Spare change scales well, but let's take a look at skills.
Full of noise.
Sure.
Find the quiet within.
I prefer left-handed, but we have no way of getting to 20 without selling something we like, so let's go strength. And your skill would be beautiful. Your faux crow's nest, big ego, would do very well. We block strength. Oh no, we don't. It's the same level. But we take strength. We take strength. We take spices for sure. Anything else is going straight to sale for sale. One weapon Vanessa minus the crow's nest. Interesting. Diamond Langjon though just scales out of control. Can't really afford you because you cost 10. We could sell wanted poster. It's getting us 1 in the future. Wanted poster will get us 1, 2, 3, 4 XP, assuming that we get to 10, and it does it over time, which is bad. I think we are better off cashing out and gambling here.
Only what I am at the edge of the foundation.
We got the worst result, I think, but I still think it was worth it. Let's have a look at weapons. No. Yeah, let's have a look at weapon skills. I have regrets. Not really what we want, but I think we take right-handed. Extra damage always nice. It's double damage on Langjon. Let's take a freebie. Good thing about what we're rocking here is we're a bit more. We have a bit more going in terms of
I'm a bit of a legend.
not just getting blown out by disruption. So a freeze item, for example, doesn't just completely blow us out. Oh, what is this? Ugh. That looks terrifying. But I think we should win, as long as we crit, maybe? Oh! Wee-wah! Are we going to get to go again? Holy! Holy! I don't know what was happening there, but it was very, very bad. How are you getting so much damage? You were charging yourself. Double times damage for the fight. What was happening there? This went to like 400 damage at some point. I don't understand. Double crit damage. Crit chance 60. No damage. Don't really understand what was happening. Whatever it was very bad. And they beat us. And we're not quite on lethal, which is good. So, let's get this sorted. We want CDR on Langjon. We want an enchantment on our scarf. And there's a lot of room on the board for improvements. Let's just take a look. Let's take a cheeky peek. It's back. Double experience bonus. Wee-wah. That's a fair chunk of experience. We can't afford it without selling out. You're cool. Weird. Useless, but kind of cool. I assume it passes on the enchant to the item you get, which is fun. Can't afford it. 10% crit chance. Is there a world where we chuck this on instead of ropes? It's greedy. It's certainly greedy. But it's fun. So I'm doing it.
Will you use this in one of your fights?
Obviously it makes no sense selling the previous one now, but it is what it is. I assume double experience gain. I assume that applies to if you had it in play as well. Maybe not. Anyway, don't want to fight you. I'll rather fight you. What a cool item. Wish it gave double crit chance as well. I would have thought that for what is a super rare item, that would be a decent buff. But I mean, if we're going to make it through to 10 wins, we're going to be beating a lot of players and getting a lot of XP. So it's good. And putting it on the board gives us extra aura, I feel, and also extra little bit of crit chance, which is actually super important. Let's transform the poster. Does it keep shiny? Pretty sure it keeps shiny, so you could transfer it into a god tier item. I wonder if that's how you're meant to play Mandela as other heroes, is transforming items where you have an amazing enchant but don't necessarily like the item. But then I feel like it's still relatively likely to end up in something that's of less use. Can still absolutely make a case for Iceberg here. It certainly helps us get Langjon off. So I think we get rid of... Reducing its CDI is really... Reducing its cooldown is really good still. Are we just going to get rid of Wanted Poster now? I feel like Scarf is just good enough and is scaling. Katana isn't really doing a huge amount, albeit would be a good enchant. Receiver. Your swag for sure. But let's take you in the bag and play it like this. So we keep the poster, just not on the board, which is kind of a shame, but it is what it is. Still 64% crit chance. Buy and sell for the scarf. Oh, that was close to... I thought I sold the iceberg then. That would have been extremely sad. This is just a really good item, especially if we can upgrade it. Let's take a sneaky peek. We don't get many rerolls, but these look good. It's a bug. Freeze 2 items. Seems pretty good. Pretty good, but no synergy and stuff. You know, and stuff. Let's just take you for the value. I don't think you're ever making on the board, but we might wait to sell you until we've increased your value a bit to help our econ. Would really like a win here against Old Mate. It doesn't help that our board has a spot free. That's certainly not a position you want to be in. This looks pretty bad because we don't quite one hit. I'd really like the crit because I don't know if you're going to get to go again. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 64% chance. Cool. Big win to stay off lethal. So we want to upgrade the iceberg, we want to fill in one of our spots, and we want to buy sell for scarf, and so we can cash out a pawn shop. So let's buy sell, can't buy unless we sell pawn shop. I think we roll, hope to get in one more buy sell, which we do.
Whoever said money can't buy
then we cash out a pawn shop. And then we buy, sell, and buy keep. Yeah, that was a great shot for us. 94% crit chance. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas. Let's risk coin for XP. Would be nice if we stopped getting the lowest roll there. Let's upgrade our iceberg. Is an easy one. The crit enchant on the iceberg is so cool. Phenomenal enchant. It basically reduces their crit chance to 0. So it just completely wrecks a lot of builds, and on average is very beneficial. Pretty sure we can take Awakened District, because we should get a hit of Langjon off before they shield up. So if we crit, we're in business, and even if we don't, we should be okay. So yeah, we're fine. Iceberg's so good. Would love to pick up is it the Snowflake that increases its freeze duration? It's just such a good item.
Pathetic. As spineless as a jellyfish.
Balcony, phenomenal item, but not for what we're cooking. Goodbye. Shiny Wanted Poster is so cool. Burn. So we should really be racking up the XP here. Let's have a look at Diamond. It's a greedy option, but we've got lots of good things that'll help. This really helps our longevity, which is kind of what we need. Yeah, I like it. Heal and cleanse. I haven't seen that skill too much, but that seems quite good. Longevity is what we want for sure. Let's have a look at heal and shield. You're good to sell. Can make a case for picking up Cove, but that's the long-term play, and I think we're more interested in short-term here. What am I looking for? Iron sharpens iron. Has reduced importance now we got rid of Katana. Putting damage on Lang Zhong is obviously far less impactful than putting damage on Katana due to the cooldown differences. We're in a great spot in terms of XP, I say, as we come up against another level 14 player. I generally expect us to have a bit of an XP edge against most players we're against. This guy's silver, so he's been playing for a bit. What are you? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. This item is cooked. Absolutely cooked. How'd you have so much HP? What is this? What is this nonsense? You've bonked me. You've got my healthy heart skill. Yeah, way too strong. Impossibly strong, Mac. Hitting for nearly 6,000 and nowhere near. That is way too good. Sometimes you just get cooked. Let's hope we get to 7 with it. Either way, I think it's worth uploading. It's been fun. Random enchant. Burn. Burning Scarf? Yeah. It's not bad. Burning Iceberg. Burning Scarf. Burning Scarf. Because we're not always one-tapping with Lang Zhong as the last fight went to show. I don't think we're ever getting rid of Scarf because it helps our survivability so much. I would have preferred heal or shield for the defensive boost, but offense is a form of defense really because it just helps us get there quicker. I'd like to not get 2, please. I think we got 3. That's nice. Because you always get 1 for advancing. Yeah, sure. We've got our burn item, thanks. No need. No need, friend. We'll keep scaling the Scarf, scaling burn. So it's cool that Scarf could almost be a win condition in itself here. But it's kind of... Let's give Volcus a go, because you must have nice ice things for our Iceberg. Oh yeah, this skill would be phenomenal as well with our Scarf. It's frozen us a lot, but we're returning the favour with retaliatory freezes. Oh god, that was a big one. I'd like one of my items to do something. That was good. I think we're cooked. Wow, he's strong. He's really, really, really strong. Well, there goes our XP lead. Didn't really come close. That hurts. That hurts. I would have liked the... Probably shouldn't have done that. Easy to say now, though. Anyway, missed out on some scaling. But it is what it is.
Items, small items, grotesque excess.
Scarf is looking pretty good. Let's take the boost. I'd really like to get to 7. I feel like this build deserves 7. Although it's always easy to say that, isn't it? Everyone's happy with their build. It's the type of game where to reach this stage and have a chance, you have to have what is a pretty busted build, really, because kind of every build is busted in its own way. Like, this looks insanely strong, but it's definitely not. I'd say we're marginally favoured against a random opponent here. I take it back. Oh, yuck. We have to oh, it's going to go quicker than us. Yeah, we lose. Ouch! We got bouldered. We got absolutely bouldered. Scarf Vanessa turns out not very good. I really did feel good about that build, but that happens all the time in the Bazaar, where you think you've put together a really strong build. Like, you look at this on paper and it looks phenomenal, but you get the wrong matchups, the RNG doesn't quite go your way. You might make some bad decisions. I may have made some bad decisions there. And yeah, you just lose. And we lost. But still was fun. Like I said, posting daily Bazaar videos, so please subscribe if you want to see more. I upload runs where I win and runs where I lose. I think doing anything else is disingenuous and a bit boring. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.